Hey, it is an unstoppable day. It's your boy, Terrence, the Unstoppable Coach Leffridge, and you are watching another episode of the Unstoppable Author Showcase. Yes, welcome into the show where we are previewing our wonderful, phenomenal, exciting, super califragilistic event that's coming up on May 25th in Chicago. Yeah, you see it scrolling down on the bottom of your screen right now. It is the Unstoppable Author Showcase in the Windy City, my town, Chi-Town, May 25th from 4:30 to 7:30 in the evening at Build Coffee House, where you want to see your face in the place. And today, over the next couple of minutes, we're going to preview a few of the authors that we're going to be showcasing at the event. But before we get into that, let's just have a little sneak peek about what you can expect if you show up for the Unstoppable Author Showcase in collaboration with BTBY, Becoming the Better You. Absolutely. See you at the Unstoppable Author Showcase in collaboration with the BTBY movement, Becoming the Better You, on May 25th, next Saturday, Memorial Day weekend in my town, Chi-Town. And we've got a couple of our authors that are going to be on the panel that day. So let's introduce, I always like to go with ladies first. One of the co-authors in the book, Becoming the Better You, The World is Ready. Get your copy, get your copy. It's author Jennifer Wade. Hey, Jennifer, how are you?
Hi, I'm wonderful. How are you?
Oh, so great to have you here this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. And we've got some of our Chicagoland authors here. We've got an author who's been in a couple of books already collaboratively, and she's also part of the BTBY family as regards to being in our speaker academy. Let's welcome Vicky Walker to the platform. Hey, Vicky.
Hey T, how are you? How's everyone out there?
Oh man, so grateful to have you here on a great morning talking about your role on being a part of the Unstoppable Author Showcase. And last but not least, a man who has done multiple books already in his lifetime, and he is a proponent for family, especially for fatherhood. Let's welcome to the stage author Dwight Doremus. Hey, Dwight, how are you?
Great. Good morning to each and every one of you. I'm so thankful that I'm here.
I am so thankful that you guys are with us this morning as well. We're going to take an opportunity to showcase you guys briefly, give them what we like to call a sneak peek of what they can expect to hear from you guys as you grace the coffee house stage next weekend. Again, we're going to be at the Build Coffee House in historic Hyde Park in Chicago. In the place. I'm hearing it's going to be a phenomenal weekend. You know, nothing like summer in Chicago. If you've never been to Chicago before, this is a great opportunity. I think it's going to be in the 70s this weekend. I think it's going to be bright and shiny, but if not outside, then definitely when you come inside, you're going to be enriched, you're going to be enlivened, and your world will definitely be brighter as you experience these authors. So let's go around the room and just give an opportunity, the 30 seconds to a minute, for each one of you to introduce yourself. I'm going to ask each of you until I call your name to mute yourself because we do have a little bit of feedback in coming in, and we want to make sure. Okay, got it. So let's start with Jennifer Wade. Jennifer, let's take about 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Introduce yourself to the audience, who you are, where you're from, and what book you're going to be showcasing at the event.
Well, of course, I'm Jennifer Wade, and if you didn't know, I was born and raised right there in Chicago, starting on the west side, moving to the south side, spent all my productive years on the south side. But I'm a co-author of Becoming the Better You. The World is Ready. I'm also a culture consultant with a company called Janway Consulting, and I am a 30-year Army veteran. I don't know if I gave you the information you needed, but I gave you information I wanted you to have.
All right. You may not have given me what I needed, but you gave me what you had. I love it. Thank you so much for your service. And again, what a great way to come out and show your appreciation for Jennifer Wade, to come out and support this veteran on Memorial Day weekend. We thank you for your services for us during military time, and we thank you for the service that you're providing to us each and every day as a consultant in the world of human resources. Let's move on over to Miss Vicky Walker. Vicky, why don't you take 30 to 60 seconds and introduce yourself?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vicky Walker, and I have been born and raised in Chicago, been here my entire life. I did live in Indiana for about 16 years, but now I'm back in Chicago. I'm going to be bringing two books with me next weekend. Um, Women Thriving Fearlessly, Volume 1, and then Women Thriving Fearlessly, Volume 2, the Mother's Edition. Basically, both of these are based on my story about my daughter, Nikki, who passed away 9 years ago. And I'm telling her story and how I've gotten through it, a major tragedy, a lifetime changing part of my life, getting through it, getting around it, and helping other women, other mothers be able to also get through it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning and sharing that truly heart-wrenching story that's going to help people recognize that there is life after loss. So we thank you so much for being with us. And we're going to jump into a little bit more about your stories as we go on throughout the show. Last but not least, let's bring the brother up from Chi-Town, representing the fathers all over the Chicagoland area and around the world, Mr. Dwight Duramus. Hey, Dwight, how are you, sir?
Hi, good morning. Again, my name is Dwight Duramus. I am the author of the book Disappearing Dads. That's pretty much the book I'm going to be featuring. I also wrote a book called Wife, Life, and Legacy. I'll also bring that as well. Here's the thing, as far as my background is concerned, I am a native of Chicago, born and raised on Chicago South Side. I pretty much lived there most of my life, except for the 7-year period I lived in Minnesota. Um, I am all about family. I am a father of 2 adult sons, and I've been married to my beautiful wife for the last 28 years. So family is everything for me, and it's one of the things that I'm going to highlight when I will be in Hyde Park next week.
Congratulations. 28 years of marriage. That's fantastic. Great, great. Definitely talking about family. And again, we thank all of you guys for being here. The Unstoppable Author Showcase is all about showcasing diversity within the world of the written word. Authors from not only the Chicagoland area, but around the country, around the world, sharing their voices, letting the world know that they are ready to share their message, whatever that message may be, based upon the books that they've written. And you can just see from this small sample size that there is work being done in the world of business. There's work being done in the world of healing. There's work being done in the world of family restoration, reunification. So there are so many different things that authors are putting out there, and we love to showcase that as a part of what we do in collaboration with Becoming the Better You. Hashtag BTBY. We are a national organization that helps people become the better version of themselves, realizing that good, better, best, we can't let it rest until our good becomes our better and our better becomes our best. Each and every day, we help you work on becoming the best version of yourself in terms of personal development, in terms of health and wellness, in terms of financial wellness, and in terms of service, because we recognize that service is the rent we pay in order to live in this beautiful world that we live in today. So let's go around the room and let's just start talking about the first question that I want to throw out to each one of you is, why did you become an author in the first place? And let's start off with Vicky. What made you decide to become an author and ultimately find yourself here at the Unstoppable Author Showcase?
I thought I had a story to tell in regards to my daughter's passing and starting no legacy for her. So I, what better way? Besides, I have a journalism degree too from Columbia that I've never used until becoming an author. So I was finally able to use that degree I have. But I felt I had a story, and people needed to hear Nikki's story. I'm also in the process of writing her life story, thanks to you, Terrence. So I know we have a story to tell. I know it needs to get out there, and I know that I can help, like I said, parents, mothers get through their loss, being a uh, life after loss strategist now. And I know that I have a story to tell and it needs to be heard.
Love it. Fascinating. Hey, Dwight, what made you decide to become an author?
I'm going back to my late grandmother, my late paternal grandmother. She influenced me. She reminded me of my name. I'm named after her son and my father. And it's one of those things where the impact of the impact and influence of my grandmother, when she planted the seeds for me to write a book, she once told me, she said, "Why don't you write an autobiography?" And I told her, "Well, Grandma, I'm not famous or anything like that." But then she said, "Well, what would be a good story for me to write about?" And then I talked about the impact of my father, who passed away when I was 6. So that sort of led the seeds for me to write Disappearing Dads.
All right, and so far we're hearing a pattern of there's things that have happened in your life that has led to the story that you're trying to tell right now, whether it's from Vicky talking about her daughter or you with the inspiration from your grandmother. We all of our stories that come out in the written word have something to do with what either we've gone through, what we've experienced, or what we're about to go through in the future. But I'm sure, Jennifer, yours has a little different spin on it because yours is more from a service component, trying to help people become better in the workforce. But you tell us, what made you decide to become an author?
Well, what made me decide to become an author, Terrence, is one simple thing. Growing up in Chicago, and I'm a child of the '60s, I grew up at a time, kids were seen, not heard. Things happened in your life that you wanted to talk about. Things happened in your life that made you who you were at that moment in time. In every stage of our life, we're carrying those moments that happened in our life with us. And when we enter the workplace, for lack of a better way of putting it, we're taking all that luggage with all those moments inside that suitcase into the workplace with us. And when we go into that workplace, we're dealing with our leaders, we're dealing with our coworkers, we're dealing with our customers, and we're trying to build a brand for ourselves. We're trying to help the company build their brand, but we're bringing that into the workplace, which is going to affect how we interact with others. And that happened to me when I went into the military. I brought all that with me, and it affected how I interacted with those drill sergeants, with my fellow soldiers, with the system as a whole. it affects the environment I was allowing to be created around me, just as it affects our workplace. It affects the environment that we're putting ourselves in and that we're bringing into our employer's organization. And if they don't take notice of it, I might be the loudest person in the room creating the most change, creating a pattern instead of going with the policies and procedures. This is how we've always done it because I allowed it to evolve. And so for me, there were moments that needed to be said, but you ever heard that phrase, when I was a child, I thought as a child?
Mm.
Well,
Yes.
when I was a child, I had ideas of what would make my life great when I grow up, the things that I need to do to not make these same mistakes, and the kind of person that I was going to be. Well, when I got rid of that child's mind and became an adult, then I understood that there are some things in my suitcase I'm carrying around with me that's harming not only me but the people that are surrounding me. And so the best way for me to deal with those was to start putting pen to paper. And so when the offer was made to me, would you like to be an author in our book? Yes, I think I would. I have some things to say. I have some things to say that's going to affect people, it's going to affect environments, and it's going to shine some light on the types of people that employers deal with on a regular basis. You can't label people as being angry. You can't label them as being standoffish. You have to reach out and get to know the people within your organization, just like you need to get to know the people in your community.
I love it. I love it. And you said one important thing that we can all relate to here as authors, that you have something that you needed to say. And sometimes the best way to say that, if you can't say it with your mouth, is you say it with the pen and the paper, because some of the greatest lessons ever learned in life came out of a book. So your ability to put your life lessons into a book and give that book to someone who can learn from your life lessons is not only going to enrich your life, but it's going to help somebody else's life. And we hope you guys who are watching right now, whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, will join us next weekend, May 25th, so that we can enrich your life with these wonderful authors at our Unstoppable Author Showcase. These are just a few of the people who are going to be on our panel for the event. But as we throw the flyer up, you can see we've got a couple of other panelists, from John E. Avocado to Kenya Mester, and Chuck Doyle, who are also part of the BTBY family. And then you see Dwight Doremus and you see Vicky, who are new members to our BTBY family, just because they're a part of this Unstoppable Author Showcase, all ready to share with you next weekend their books, their stories, their reasons for becoming authors. And maybe, just maybe, you'll come out, you'll buy a book, or you may be inspired to become an author or a speaker too. BTBY, Becoming the Better You organization. We help authors become authors, and we help communicators become better speakers. And when we come back, we'll talk more with these fabulous authors about what their book is about, give you a little sneak peek of what you can expect to hear from them on that day. But let's talk about one of the other opportunities you can have by being a part of the BTBY family, Becoming the Better You. We have a speaker course called the Becoming the Best Speaker Academy. It's an 8-week course that Jennifer's already gone through and Vicky is currently in. And we know Dwight is going to be a part of it real soon. And so can you. Come on over to btbspeaker.com and learn a little bit more about becoming the best speaker you can be. And you're watching the Unstoppable Author Showcase. We'll be right back in a few minutes. All right, and we are back with the Unstoppable Author Showcase. I'm your host, Terrence, the Unstoppable Coach Leffridge, and we've got some of our panelists that are going to have their face in the place on May 25th at 4:30 in Hyde Park, Chicago, for our Unstoppable Author Showcase. We have Jennifer Wade, Vicky Walker, and author Dwight Doremus here with us. Thank you guys again for joining us this morning. And now we want to talk to you, give you an opportunity to give a little bit of spotlight on the book that you're going to be showcasing during the event. So, I've been giving the ladies all the pomp and circumstance and the stage at the beginning of the time. Let's give the brothers some love right now. Dwight, why don't you come on in about 1 to 2 minutes, talk to us about the book you want to showcase, and more importantly, why our audience should come out and see you next Saturday.
The book I'm going to showcase is called Disappearing Dads. Fatherlessness is the root of our society ills. Oftentimes, it's not even reported or even denied by some so-called experts. And one of the main reasons, as far as the importance of fatherlessness, is how it affects our homes, it affects our communities, it affects our churches. This book is written from a Christian perspective, backed by biblical verses from the Bible. And one of the things that I want to let you know about this book is that it is a blessing for anyone who reads it. There's a story in which everyone can relate to, whether it's them themselves that have issues with families that don't have fathers, or they know someone who is in that position. Since it has been an increase since the 60s, where it can be broken down as far as people groups, whether it is, it was one of those things where fatherlessness is hit everywhere and is across this country. Now, as far as to why to see me on Saturday, that I will be happy to not only um, encourage you to purchase Disappearing Dads, but also to share with how my experiences, because my vocation is that I am a teacher, I'm an educator. I've taught on high school level, taught in elementary school, and taught on college levels. So I do have an extensive background and experience working with young people, and oftentimes that the students that I serve, the majority of them comes from fatherless homes. So it's one of those things where come out on Saturday and be blessed by myself as well as the other authors that have to present to you next week.
Gotcha. Thank you. Nothing like live video. One thing that struck me when you mentioned that, Dwight, is that you talk to youth on a daily basis, almost, and to hear a lot of the stories of youth that are growing up without fathers in the home, all those different acronyms we won't get into. How does that strike you every time you hear a story from another student for the first time?
It's one of those things where I'm not surprised about it. It gives me opportunity, well, first of all, to listen, because their voice needs to be heard as far as wherever they rhyme or reasons for that, and also to lend, an advisory word or encouragement to let them know that it may be your beginning point, but you always have the opportunity to start where you are and change your ending.
Wow, that's prophetic. It's encouraging for people to know that regardless of if you had both parents in the home, one parent in the home,
Mhm.
or no parent in the home, you can still move forward from there and become unstoppable, and then
Mhm.
showcase the things that you're able to do with your life. And so, as we segue from you, Dwight, we're talking to another parent in Vicky Walker. Your story is very much parent oriented, and you are speaking to the parents of the world in your two books that you've been a part of. So tell us a little bit about the book that you're going to showcase on Saturday and why it's so important for people to come out and hear your story, Vicky.
Well, like I said, I'm doing two different books. One Women Thriving Fearlessly Part One, Volume One, and then Will excuse me, Will Jesus. William will Women Thriving Fearlessly, the Mother's Edition. Sorry about that. In the first edition, I'm actually telling Nikki's story of how the day of her accident, which happened on May 29th, 2015, and how the accident led up to her passing. And in her passing, I donated her organs. Her heart went to my best friend's sister, which was 100% match. Her kidney went to my husband's friend, which was 100% match. So I had two direct donations. I talk about meeting her lung recipient, who is now unfortunately passed on 2 years ago, how I met Gift of Hope, how during that time we did a commercial, which was nationwide. Some people may recognize me and Tanisha, who received her heart. During that time, I also did a foundation for Nikki called the Smile for Nikki Foundation, where we taught kids acting, dancing, and singing lessons. So it tells her journey of her accident, my journey after the accident, how I've gotten through it, the things I've done to get through it, and how I've gotten to the other side after the tragedy. And my goal now is to teach parents, specifically mothers, because we carry the children. So we have a deeper connection than most fathers would have because we carry them. Give them some tools to teach them how to get past that, because that's a loss that you don't ever want to expect being a part of, because it's out of order. Normally, your kids, you pass first and your kids have to live on after that, not the other way around. So this is a club that most parents or mothers don't expect to be in. So in meeting me next Saturday, I'm going to tell her story about her legacy, the things I've done since she's passed to keep her legacy going, and just trying to help mothers get through the life after loss, because it is a huge loss.
Yes, and as a life after loss specialist, I think that's really important for your voice to be heard, for those voices that have kind of lost their voice as a result of the loss that they have been going through. And I think it's really important for people to hear from you on how you've been able to find life and find a new purpose after the loss. And hopefully, just hopefully, by hearing their story, they'll recognize that they too have a life after loss that they can pursue as well. And when we've talked about that loss, especially from a loss of a fatherhood or loss of a child, that personal loss tends to find its way into the workplace. Because let's face it, we all still have to go to work. We all still have to make a living, but sometimes we don't know how to walk through that door of the workplace and leave the problems of our personal life behind. And that's where an HR specialist like Jennifer may come into play with the different services and tools and tips that you might be able to utilize to help make the separation between work and life, or learn how to still be a productive worker while you are going through those personal things in your life. So Jennifer, tell us why about the book you want to showcase and why it's so important that people come out and hear your message on this Saturday.
Absolutely. The piece, why it's important to come out and listen to or have a conversation with me about the chapter I've written in this book is because I share moments in time of my life. And when you're sharing moments, sometimes it leaves the mind with questions. So, what happened after that? And we can get into some more clarification on those moments in time that I'm sharing with you. But after listening to Vicky now, I want to mention this one piece because in the book I mentioned that I lost my mom, and Vicky's absolutely right. We expect for our kids to pass away first, not not well, I'm sorry. We expect for our kids to pass away after us, not first. So when my mom passed, I was still in the military, and I always tried to separate personal and professional. However, when you're trying to deal with a loss, regardless how you're trying to deal with it, it is going to invade your workplace. I went back to my office and I went back. I was in training and development site at that time. And I went back and I thought that I was my normal self. In hindsight, I look back, I was mean. I became mean. I became rude. I was snippy, but I didn't recognize it. I was living it, and it was affecting my workplace. My attitude started to affect the people around me, and those people did not want to tell me that I was, affecting their workplace and making it hard for them to come into the office each day. But I did have one person who, when I snapped and just unleashed on that one person, they put rank aside for a moment, and they gave it back to me. And at that point, that's when I recognized something's not right. This person would never have done that in the past. So something's happened. I need to sit back and take a look at that. And that's when I decided to step out of myself and sit back and see what was happening. And I could see that my way of dealing with my grief, because I wasn't a very emotional person, drop down and cry, that just wasn't me. My way of dealing with that was to hold it all in, but I was taking it out on the people that were surrounding me. Those are the things that someone else needs to bring to our attention. We may not notice it. You know that
Wow.
old saying, can't see the forest for the trees. I'm that big forest standing in the middle. These are my trees. I can't see anything wrong. I need somebody that's outside looking in that forest to come in there and say, you are the problem.
Wow. That is prophetic. And sometimes you can't see the picture when you're part of the frame. And you need people from an outside that can come in and take a look at you and see you as you are, because we may still have those rose colored glasses and we're seeing ourselves as the way we want to be portrayed. So great information. Looks like everybody on this panel is going to have some powerful books as well as some powerful stories to share. So we definitely want you guys to have your face in the place next Saturday in the Chicagoland area. It's a free event. It's the BTBY Unstoppable Author Showcase. Let me put that flyer up one more again so you guys can see all the fabulous people that are going to be there. These are just a few of the people that are going to be on the panel, but we're going to have a lot of people, a lot of our authors, family, and friends are going to be there. And it's an opportunity for you guys to meet the authors, to get a signed copy of their book, to interact with them on a more personal level, to understand how they have become a better version of themselves. And if you come on out and be a part of this Unstoppable Author Showcase, you too will be a better version of yourself as well. We're going to take another quick break and we'll be back with the Unstoppable Author Showcase. All right, welcome back to the Unstoppable Author Showcase preview show. I'm your host, Terrence Leftridge, and we are here with author Dwight Doremus, author Jennifer Wade, and author Vicky Walker. Just a few of the panelists that are going to be with us next Saturday at the BTBY Unstoppable Author Showcase in Chicago. So, I've been talking a lot about BTBY, becoming the better you. It's not just an organization, it's a movement. It's got a meaning and a message behind it. So the question I want to throw out to the audience right now, to our esteemed panelists, is when you think about the phrase becoming the better you, What does it mean to you? And let's start with Vicky. When you hear the phrase becoming the better you, what does that mean to you personally?
Being a better version of myself, um, being an unstoppable part of myself. Like you always say, you're Mr. Unstoppable. Make what you do an unstoppable day. Just being the best that you can be of yourself. We all have bad days, we all have our moments, but we have to dig deep and be able to overcome those moments and those issues to become a better version of ourselves. And in becoming a better version of ourselves, we can help others become a better version of themselves by being positive and just digging in and keeping on moving.
Well, and in your story that you'll tell more next week at the event, after the life after the loss of the life of a child, many people would forgive you if you no longer became a better version of yourself, if you were no longer interested in becoming a better version of yourself. But how has experiencing this loss helped you become a better version of yourself each and every day, in spite of understanding that the loss is still there?
Being able to be a part of Gift of Hope, which is when I donated Nikki's organs, that really helped me a lot because I could take the focus off of myself and put it on her. Being around the team there, they're very loving and they loved on me when I needed it the most. And being able to get out into the community and talk about organ tissue donation, becoming an organ and tissue donor, and just telling that Nikki's story actually helped me through my really bad days. And unfortunately, like I said, her anniversary is coming up at the end of this month. So what I do is I think about the things that we used to do together. She was in a lot of plays in high school, so I listen to watch a lot of her videos, songs that remind me of her. I just dig deep and think about her, and it helps me through my days. And I tell people this story all the time. In the summertime, she sends me forms of butterflies, be it live butterflies or a butterfly on a kid's t-shirt or maybe a butterfly tattoo. Whenever I see a butterfly, it lets me know she's around me. She's saying, "Hey, mom, I got you. I'm here for you. It's gonna be okay." And she's done this since she passed on. And now that spring and summer is here, I've already seen at least 6 different butterflies. And she sends them to me in the oddest places. So it's not just being outside. I could be driving in my car and a butterfly would fly around my car. And that lets me know she's there. And people don't believe me until they experience it with me, but I know that that's her saying, "Mom, I got you. You've always had me. I got you now. I'm here for you, no matter what." So that helps me get through my days and be a better version of myself and be unstoppable.
Great, great answer. Thank you for sharing that with us. Dwight, come on mute. And how has writing these books, or how has being an educator, or how has just being in a committed relationship for 28 years and counting helped form the better version of Dwight each and every day?
When it comes to being a better you, I look at it as apart from me, I'm just the instrumental tool in order to help others. One of the things that, like when I write books, I care more about the impact that I use, the gifts that whatever that's been given to me to be able to help other people. So it really is not about me. It's about how I help others. And in helping others makes me a better me.
I love that. It's not about me, it's about helping others. That is one of our pillars in the BTBY movement, that ideal of service. How can we be of service to our audience more so than we're in service to ourselves? There's a phrase that says it's not about where I go, it's not about where you go, but it's about where we go. And in order for that to happen, we have to drop our ego. And that speaks volumes to what you just said. Don't make it about yourself, make it about your audience. How can you each and every day help your audience? And Jennifer, you became one of our audience members in the BTBY family when we initially started our movement. And so there was something personal that struck you when we talked about becoming the better you. What made you decide to be a part of the BTBY movement and continue to go through our services and continue to be a part of our movement?
Eloquence. It's the word that I use as the reason that propelled me to become part of BTBY, a fellow BTBY member and I had gone through some classes before and we'd done various things. And when I was at that BTBY, although she'd shared her story with me previously, she got up on that stage. And that person that was on that stage had now become more than just a person who shared her story with me. She was a speaker up there sharing her story with the world. And she was sharing it with confidence. And she was sharing the story that she thought the audience could benefit from and that she could kind of get some relief from. So, in listening to that, I thought, I need to become part of this group. There are things that I should share, I need to share. I don't know how to go about doing that. And you guys allowed me the opportunity to get up there and to eloquently tell my story rather than just getting up there and being an emotional person that just spits out the words because this is what I want you to hear. There, there's more to becoming the better version of myself because each day I am a better version of myself. I'm better today than I was yesterday, and I will be better tomorrow than I am today because I am constant work in progress. But in getting up there on that stage and taking my time, sharing my story, becoming a better person, and allowing the audience to travel down that journey with me. That's a BTBY logo too, Terrence. It is not about the where you end up. It's about the journey. It's about the journey to get to where you want to be. And my journey is constant. It's constant. I'm constantly reevaluating, constantly becoming a better version of myself, constantly looking at what I can do, of course, to be more help to others, but to help people understand who I am.
I love it. It's not about the destination, it is about the journey. And that's why we say not become the best version, we say becoming the better version of you. The ing is an action statement. It's something that you are constantly doing. You don't do it one day and then you stop. Each and every day, you're becoming a better version of yourself. And that's what we want to also bring out to you guys at the Unstoppable Author Showcase on May 25th. We want to give you the opportunity to become a better version of yourself. Whether you have been thinking about becoming an author, but you just haven't heard that one person's testimony of why they became an author to give you that to give you that push to move you into becoming an author. That's what we want to showcase on Saturday. Maybe you are an author, but you haven't had the confidence to step out on stage and tell your story of why you wrote your book. And maybe you are looking for an opportunity to align yourself with a group of people that showcase authors continuously. Then we want you to have your face in the place. Maybe you're someone, you're on the edge of whether now I have a story in me that I need to tell. Well, as Dwight said, we're here to help you, to encourage you, to motivate you to tell your story. And then we've got services here within BTBY that can help you take that from a thought into creation. Again, we are highlighting our recent anthology, Becoming the Better You. The World is Ready. Why? Because the world was ready for these 26 authors, and we know the world is ready for you to be the next author, maybe the next best-selling author. But just you need the push, you need the motivation, you need the opportunity to see other people just like you doing the same thing. So if that's you, then we encourage you to go to the link below. You see it going across the screen right now and register for this free FREE event. But hey, if you want to get one of these authors' books right now, if you want to pre-order your book and have it ready and waiting for you at the event, then there's also a VIP link in the link below where you can go click on that VIP, and for a little upgrade, then you'll be sure to make sure that we have a signed copy of the book ready and waiting for you. But in either case, we want you to come on out to the BTBY Unstoppable Author Showcase this coming Saturday. May 25th, Hyde Park, Chicago, at the Build Coffee Cafe. It's a nice, small, intimate cafe, so you'll be able to get up close and personal with not only these panelists, but a couple of our other panelists that will have their face in the place on that day. So we guarantee you, you'll not only be able to hear their story, you'll be able to reach out, touch them, talk to them, and have a greater experience than you've had at any other book signing before. So once again, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll come right back and we'll wrap up this preview episode of the Unstoppable Author Showcase. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. And we are back. You are watching a sneak preview of the BTBY Unstoppable Author Showcase on the Unstoppable Story Show with your host, Terrence, the Unstoppable Coach Leffridge. We're hanging out with some of our panelists that's going to have their face in the place on May 25th in Hyde Park, Chicago. We've got the authors Jennifer Wade, Dwight D. Ramus, and Vicki Walker along with us today. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Let's throw some round robin quick questions out talking about my town, Chi-Town. Real quickly, tell me something that you love the best about Chicagoland. I'm going to kick it to my boy Dwight again. Unmute yourself.
The fact that we have the most passionate fans with our professional sports teams in the nation, but the restaurants, it is so many, it is so diverse.
I love it. I love it. Jennifer Wade, deep dish versus thin crust pizza.
Oh, I should shoot you. I I am a fan of thin crust in Chicago. I love Sicilian pizza, but you can't beat the deep dish pizza in Hyde Park. That is the best.
Nice segue. Nice segue. Ready to bring it back home. All right, Vicky. So is it Giordano's? Is it Lou Malnati's? Is it something else? What's the best pizza in town?
I've always loved Uno's and Due's downtown. To me,
Oh,
those are the best
right.
pizzas.
Okay. So Dwight, you talked about sports teams. So baseball, White Sox or Cubs?
Oh, here we go. Right now, for me, it'd be the White Sox, and I know they are bad, real bad. But right now, it'd be the White Sox. I used to be a Cubs fan until the Barman incident, and I just fell off.
Wow. Yeah, well, it's tough being a White Sox fans these days. So, but more power to you, brother. Which brings us to a great question. Vicky, North Side or South Side?
South Side.
South Side. Jennifer, North Side, South Side, West Side?
South Side, without a doubt.
Dwight, which side is the best side?
Oh, it's always the South Side.
All right, all right, if any of y'all live on the west side that is watching this live or in the replay, we're sorry, but so sorry. So tell me, since it's Memorial Day weekend, why should someone, maybe who's coming from out of town for this event, what's one thing they should definitely check out in the Windy City? Jennifer.
I would say check out Navy Pier or any of our beaches. That is the best part about Chicago. We have real beaches, not man made beaches. Check it out. There's always something going on around the beaches. It's great walking. Navy Pier, Lakeshore Drive, anywhere that there's water, it's going to be the best place to be.
Love it, love it, love it. Vicky, same question. What's one place out of towner who's coming to the event should also check out in the Windy City?
I agree with Jennifer. Definitely the beaches. Anywhere downtown. Going to see the Bean. Going up and down Michigan Avenue to see the stores. Any place downtown on the north side. It's the best place to be.
All right, Dwight, you're shaking your head. What would you in agreement with them, or you got another secret sauce place they should check out?
No, I mean the Magnificent Mile on Michigan Avenue is a good spot. Everything that's been stated, I agree. And also, you know what? There's some hidden nooks and crannies in the Hyde Park area too.
Yes. 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 I was just going to say that. Don't sleep on where we're going to be. Hyde Park, Chicago. The University of Chicago is over there, one of the most prestigious universities across the nation. We were talking about pizza just a minute ago. So Giordano's Pizza is within walking distance of where we're going to be for our event. So you definitely want to check that out. And Hyde Park is like the epicenter. It's like a little Greenwich Village if you're from New York City, or it's like a little part of the Paris if you're from Paris. It's got its own little flavor. It's got its own little vibe to it. So you definitely, if you're joining us from out of town, you want to make sure that you take full advantage of this weekend in Chicago. Now, it may not be warm enough for our beaches. I'm holding out hope for that, but there's still so many other things that you can partake of in Chicago. We call it the city that never sleeps, but it's a lot cleaner than that other city who says that. So thank you guys for that round robin. We're going to take another quick break, and then we're going to come back with some final thoughts on our BTBY Unstoppable Author Showcase. Here's that promo one more again, and you see the link below. Go ahead and register right now for that free event so you can have your face in the place for the BTBY Unstoppable Author Showcase. We'll be right back. All right, we are back with the BTBY Unstoppable Author Showcase preview show with our couple of our panelists, Jennifer Wade, Dwight Doremus, Vicky Walker. I want to put the flyer up so that you can see some of the other panelists that are going to have their face in the place next weekend. We've got author Johnny Avocado, Kenya Mester, and Chuck Doyle. They're all a part of the anthology book, the BTBY anthology book, Becoming the Better You, The World is Ready. You see Dwight Doremus, you see Jennifer Wade, and you also see Vicky Walker on the flyer. And we'll have a couple of other special guests that are in the place that Saturday. And of course, yours truly, Mr. Unstoppable, will also be there emceeing the event. So I look forward to you coming out, shaking hands, giving the holy hugs as we celebrate and we worship together, and we also come together and we work in a spirit of networking with each other, because where you go, where I go, where we go, it all becomes together in the ability for us to network. You're going to have some great opportunities there for some great books, for some great words of wisdom, for some great opportunities to connect and collaborate with the next person. And by the way, you're not only doing these author showcases in Chicago, we look to take this across the country. The CEO of BTBY, Brenda Ringwood, and myself, we work together collaboratively to take this book and to take the BTBY movement not only across the country, but across the world. BTBY has been seen across the USA. It's been seen in the continent of Africa. It's been seen virtually around the world, including Australia, the United Kingdom. So we're not just limiting this movement to what you see right here. There is room for you to get on the movement if you are someone that's looking to become a better version of yourself. So in 30 seconds or less, I'm going to have each one of you give your final thoughts on why they should come see you at the BTBY Unstoppable Author Showcase. And I'm going to start, as we started out, start with Jennifer. 30 seconds or less. Why should they come see you?
Because I am phenomenal. It's a great opportunity to come out there, get an introduction, share a few words, have a cup of coffee, and just network.
Love it. Vicky, why should they come see you next weekend?
Because I have a phenomenal story to tell. And I'm willing to help the parents, the mothers get through their trauma life after losing the loss of a child.
Love it, love it, love it. And Dwight D. Ramus, why should they come out and see you next weekend at the Unstoppable Author Showcase?
Hey, I'm just letting you know I'm just an ordinary guy, but here's the thing. You may learn something from me, because I will teach you something. So I'm just looking forward to meet each and every one of you.
Wow. And you know what? He couldn't have said it any better, because the whole ideal of the Unstoppable Story Show is that we talk to ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things. And if you want to see some ordinary people doing extraordinary things in the world of authorship, we want you to have your face in the place next weekend in Chicago, Hyde Park, Build Coffee House, from 4:30 to 7:30. Go to the link below, register right now, have your face in the place. I'm Terrence, the Unstoppable Coach Leffridge, and as always, wherever you are in the world today, you know what I say. Don't just make it a great day, but become a better version of you each and every day. And you can't help but to make it an unstoppable day. We'll see you guys next weekend at the Unstoppable Author Showcase.